Hello, everyone. What's up, Sebastian, Nim? How you guys doing? Welcome to this Friday edition of Guy Sits at Table. Let's see. Working on. So today we're just gonna have a chill, relaxing Friday night stream, and just I'm working on some of the final pages for this big action sequence in Black Marrow, which has been going on for like 25 pages. I'm at the end of it now. In the last like 2 or 3 pages, and really happy with how it came out. So today we're going to ink this panel, ink this one. You can't even tell what you're looking at because the sketch is so loose. And then maybe we'll do some completion on this page too. I need 2 panels sketched out here. I have to photo reference like an engine room of a train, because I was kind of avoiding it earlier. How's my volume, guys? How do I sound? I sound okay? I really want this new mic to be just like the best thing I ever paid for, so I'm awesome. What's up, Sebastian? Madari, how you doing? Salty Coscus. Coscus? Cautious? Is that? No, that's not how you spell cautious. Salty couscous. The word couscous, right? Isn't that how you spell it? Also, welcome, Salty Couscous, whoever you may be. How you guys doing tonight? Guys, whenever I listen to these, like, so there's nights like this where I just painting flats. Oh, that's cool. For what? Are you working in comics, dude? Or dudette? When you say painting flats, that could mean comic book art, or it could mean flatting out an overlay in illustration after doing some volume. You do barista work at school, Madari? Oh yeah. Anyway, so whenever I play this type of stuff, like as I want to do this, like relaxing, these like Blade Runner mixtapes where they take the soundtrack of like Vangelis and they make it into like a soothing cityscape thing. It really always makes me be like, I just think, man, at some point I really want to work on like a cyberpunk science fiction thing, because I think I have all these ideas of how I would draw it and how I would do the colors and the textures. It would be cool. It would be further in the direction that I'm already in now, where I'm doing like kind of like kind of delicate line art, and then like a ton of painting and color and just rendering the hell out of it. Because I think it'd be really fun to just Procreate is like the ideal app for that, for me anyways, for that particular type of book, because it's so easy to work on architecture in Procreate because it's making straight lines and perfect circles. It's like, it's a cinch. You can do it really quickly, quicker than any other drawing app I've used. Not that I've used all of them, but like I can draw a perfect or a straight line or a circle in Procreate without having to break my rhythm. So that's, and it makes it really easy to do buildings and architecture and stuff. And yeah, I would love to do big cityscapes and like murky, cyberpunk colors and rain and all that stuff. It would be, from a visual standpoint, it's like the vibe of that is just so awesome, and I don't think there's a lot of people doing that in a really skilled way. Or really, there's not a lot of people doing it at all, I should say that. I mean, and I've had this idea for years, of like a couple of years I should say, of doing like a kind of a Casey Jones vigilante cop type character who is kind of like a Blade Runner detective type thing, but a little more action exploitation as as is my way. But yeah, that's something that down the road I think would be so awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might be a couple of years before I get to that. Could be this year. Maybe this year I'll make it happen. Maybe I'll actually do like 4 books. No, I'm probably going to get 3 books at most this year, and I think it's going to be, when I know which ones are the top priorities. So... Oh, nice. Okay, then I've probably seen your work, Salty. Yeah, it's going to take forever. Is it just like a ton of figures and textures? Are you working on something too, Madara? Similar genre? Salty Couscous says, been really wanting to do more science fiction stuff. Yeah, so like, tell me about that, Couscous. Is it like, are you, when you say work, because science fiction is such a broad, term that could be applied to a lot of things, so I do really want to know what you mean. Am I doing this all wrong? Should I be doing more spot blacking? Let me see. Maybe I am doing this all wrong. Let me try this. Maybe I should ink this differently. Bear with me, guys. Maybe this needs more solid black because it's higher contrast. So let me... In general, I try not to second guess myself and like do things over once I've started it, but sometimes I'll just be like, something about this feels like I'm not exploiting this the way I should. Exploiting the image, getting everything I can out of it. Yeah, no, it's interesting how you get like a craving for certain genres. And I go through periods of like really wanting to do something that is just like, a Blade Runner knockoff to some extent, because it's just that vibe is so fun. It's so addictive and nice. And like, it's like, and I don't know about you guys, but I find that there's something about like I think every genre that I get into has a cozy side to it. Like I do a lot of dark fantasy with the stuff I do. Not even dark fantasy sometimes, just fantasy. I don't this between this and the King Arthur thing, and both of these are things that like they're kind of cozy fiction, as I've said before, where you like you can kind of just relax with it sometimes. Man, my pixel count here sucks. And it's true of the Blade Runner vibe too. Of like when you want to work on some kind of dystopian city thing, it can be there's something like when you watch Blade. For me, that movie, it's like it's really cozy. It's kind of relaxing, and probably because it's so slow paced, and like the thing that some people find boring about it is the thing that makes me want to curl up with that movie and watch it for 9 hours. Like it's a movie that it's like if that movie were 10 hours long, I'd watch every minute of it. Or just have it on, all the time. And right now where I am, it's kind of rainy out. It's kind of a murky day. This dude's brain is looking like a loaf. he looks like a chunk of challah bread. Been drawing this dude's ugly ass head for like 7 months. This is like the final page that he's on. I don't want to spoil anything about the book, but he's about to make his exit from the story. So I'm as much as I enjoyed this design and I think it was like a cool direction to go in, I drew it for like 30 pages, so I'm like, goodbye, Ned. Good riddance. Godspeed. Let's see. Yeah, there's like 150. Oh, and the thing you're flatting? Oh, goodness. Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need help? We need to have a support group for artists who are in the midst of really tedious parts of the job. There needs to be like a support group of someone you can call when you're like, please help me. I took a freelance gig and there's a background shot with 150 people, all of them in individual outfits. And somebody picks up the phone, they have to like talk you off a ledge. We're like, okay, how much color variations in it? You're like, it's a scene in the it's a scene in the Middle Ages. Everybody's wearing different colors and they're all really complex and striped. And they're like, okay, you should probably just quit. Just never mind, I can't help you. It's a shitty situation. God, I really like having this new microphone that I can, and it's like this, having a microphone that's actual, like, professional quality is, it's so nice. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about it sucking and people not hearing what I'm saying. I don't have to hold it to my face like I'm a newscaster at the Macy's Day Parade or something. It's so nice. Love it. Currently trying to draw a background that looks like fabric. Oh, cool. For what? For which of your projects, Nim? You've got so many. Did anybody have to work this weekend? It's everybody. I'm glad everybody's home chilling out. That's really nice. Good for you guys. The wife and I were going to go for a walk in some nature, but then the rain got really... It just, I don't know. It's also just so muddy out here because of all the snow and the ice. Also, some of you who are more eagle-eyed will have noticed that I've moved my desk again to a different room. Because there's a ton of leaks in my house right now. We have some leaks on the roof from the snowfall was so dramatic that it exposed some weaknesses in our roof. And it never happens while it's snowing. It always happens when the snow is melting on the roof. It's just the worst. I've been trying to do more research storytelling, as I always do, because my ideal for this year is to make my own horror story and to make my own cyberpunk story. Oh man, that's great. That's a good... Well, getting even just one comic done for a year is like a good ambitious thing, you know, even if it's just a 20-page thing. Salty Couscous says, I just want to do a series of illustrations exploring the zone from Roadside Picnic, but getting deep into the alien shape language of the objects and structures they find there. What's Roadside Picnic? That sounds familiar. I ended up reading that book a dozen times this past year, and it just lives in my head. What is Roadside Picnic? I'm curious. Sometimes you get A craving, writing. Yeah. The music and pacing makes you ask big questions about life. I'm assuming Sebastian's talking about Blade Runner, and I agree. And here's what's great about, oh god, I can say so many great things about that movie. It's like, it does make you, but it's also the movie on another level. If you're not in the mood for big questions, you can just enjoy the aesthetic of it, as I sometimes do, where you just like, you know, the big cosmic questions of the movie can just sort of fade, and then sometimes you're, oh my goodness, and then sometimes you're just like, I just want to see flying cars in the rain and listen to the, you know, that silky Vangelis soundtrack that this particular YouTube channel is trying to emulate and doing a good job of, might I say. It just has so much to offer. It's such a great movie, and I know Ridley Scott can be very hit or miss in the recent years. I don't think I've liked one of his movies in like a while now, but he will forever be goated because he made Blade Runner and Gladiator. Just an absolute badass. Nim says, you're not wrong about a lot of projects. This one is for part of the background for Baron. Okay, yeah, that's like one of your main characters. I want to do a piece that fades out from fabric into black background where you see a hint of the monsters. Oh, that's cool. Have I seen some of your dig? What does that mean? Your D-I-G-G? Is that street slang for something filthy? Does it mean something super suggestive in your homeland of Scotland? You could convince me it is, because I don't know anything. Madara, I really, really, really want to see Scotland. I really, if I ever am in, I mean, I know I shouldn't, it's inappropriate to ask you this because you're a child, but if I'm ever there, can I look you up? Can you escort me around Scotland? Can you teach me about your homeland if I ever get a chance to visit? By the time I do, you'll be like 25. And you'll probably be like way too cool and successful at that point, but I've always wanted to see the Scottish Isles, and I believe Scotland has more castles than anywhere else in Britain, yeah, or in Europe and Britain. I think it has doesn't Scotland have the most castles? Oh, have you seen some of my digital art at all? I just wonder. Have you, your opinions because I've been doing my best and I've been happy with what I've done so far. Yeah, I think I saw the design you did. Sorry, now I understand what you were asking. Yeah, I think I saw the design you did for that character. I like the elegance of it. I like that it's just these, like, the guy with the mask. But I mean, my take has always been that people should focus, when they're trying to get better, they should focus on drawing faces and people without masks. I know that that's your character. I'm not saying you shouldn't draw it. Like, you definitely should. But if you're asking my opinion of like, where to go with the work, like, try to come up with as many excuses as you can to learn anatomy and everything, because even if you want to do stylized, like, anime style art, like, that's great. It never hurts to get good with to get good at drawing people in different styles, including realism. Because, I mean, you know, my work's not super realistic. So, whoops, past a certain point, I wouldn't say that I'm a realist with my work. It's pretty stylized relative to what, like, a lot of other comic artists do, I think. Well, I don't know. Someone would probably dispute that. They'd probably say I'm a little closer to realism, but I don't know. What was I saying with that? Yeah, so, but no, I do like what you're doing, man. I mean, I think that you're, one of the best things is that you're steadily working. Like, you're doing a lot to try to improve, and you're, you know, so the fact that you're drawing so much is really cool. And I think, yeah, you'll keep improving. You'll see it more and more, you know. But the reason I was so doggedly trying to get you to look at how to draw the Marvel way, I think you said you owned a copy of it, Madara, already. Yeah, I was saying you really should look at what it says specifically about perspective and anatomy, like, because it's if you read the book and, like, listen to what they're saying, I mean, a lot of where I got my early, like, boon in drawing, where I started getting much better as a younger guy when I was around your age, was because I was looking at that book on how to draw the Marvel way. The book is worth its weight in gold. It is amazing. Nim, when you're done with that, I want to see it. If you could post it, please. I'm really curious. What are you hoping to prove to yourself, Madara? You're hoping to prove something to yourself. Oh, Sebastian says if you want to scout castles in Europe, Germany has the most, I think. I actually, yeah, maybe you're, yeah, I might be confused. And you're, yeah, I know you were talking about being Dutch. Can I ask you, not personal information, but where like, roughly do you live, Sebastian? Are you in Germany? See, I gotta switch it up again. This is, be gone. Okay. I'm kind of annoyed at myself because this panel's taking way longer than I wanted it to. I gotta go easy on myself. I'm being way too like hard on myself these days because I'm like trying to balance a lot of things in my life, just personal stuff and then paid work that keeps, that supports the family. So I got to make sure I draw that, and then I got to work on this at night. I don't really take days off, not intentionally anyway. And I feel like I'm being really harsh with myself. Like I'm like in my head, like my negative self-talk is like, this is taking too long. You have so much to do. You have to finish the last like 10 pages of this book, and you're sitting here obsessing over the line art on one panel. It's like, bro, stop, just stop. Like, I don't know why my head's doing that today, because I'm usually my self-talk is very positive. I really like what I do, and I like my work, and I like being me. It's like I have a very healthy brain in that way. But as I get close to the end of a project and I'm feeling that pressure of like, man, this better be worth the 16 months you spent drawing this. And I'm like, yeah, it better be. But I also need to be like relaxed, and you got to keep your brain in a playful state if you can, because a sense of play is really what makes for great comics, I think. I mean, there's lots of emotions that can channel into it. You can be like James O'Barr, and like, the comic is a way of dealing with heartbreak and tragedy. I'm not saying that it's got to be, positive, but even in that, there is a weird sense of play, in the same way that like a dancer, who's doing a sad dance is still moving their body in a way that is like, I don't know, like expressive and playful. So I'm trying to keep that mentality while still being like, also I don't want to rush it. Like, even though I'm so close to the end, and I know the book has got to be done by like late February at the latest, I think I can do that at this pace, no problem. And I got to relax and remember that the work is best when I'm relaxed. So stop getting on my ass. Getting on my ass, I meant to say. I got distracted by the teeth I was drawing. And by that, I'm talking to myself by being like, relax. You just gotta like... See, when you're drawing Black Marrow's beard and chin, this is for anyone who wants to get good at drawing this particular character. If you're like, hey, I want to, there's a particular thing. It's kind of like drawing Hellboy, where there's like a way to do it right, and if you skew it rather too much, you lose something, and it doesn't look like how we see him. So you want to get the sense that there's hair all over him, but if you do it the way I just did it, like this, it starts to look like a goatee, like starts to look like he has peach fuzz. What you really want to do is draw the chin and then have the hair. There you go, boom. And then you just add a little bit at the bottom, so people understand that it's fur, but you get the sense that the fur is like matted. It's not like he doesn't look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. That's a very particular. It's a very particular thing he does. I do that with him because I don't want it to look like he has a beard there. I want it to look like he's just growing fur all over his body. But then when you get to some places, the fur looks more like hair, like it gets smoother and longer. But the fur is everywhere, you know? I mean, everywhere. I showed my wife this one earlier. This is the other page I'm working on tonight. I showed her this picture of him, and I was like, he looks like such a thirst trap in this in this panel. He's like in a state of shock and duress, but there's something kind of handsome about his where he looks like a little dashing, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the thirst trap photo, even though there's like a guy next to him who's bleeding from his pineal gland. Sebastian says, at the end of the project, I always have to battle the negativity the most, even when I am a positive person. Yeah, I agree. That's when the doubt starts to come in. You start to be like, who cares what I'm doing? Like, why am I even bothering? You gotta fight that, because if you get to the other side, you'll find that actually a good amount of people care. Enough that it's worth you having done it. Germany is next to Netherlands, and the Netherlands is like a very small... Oh, I know the Netherlands, yeah. I know the Netherlands, sir. Americans are... We know the Netherlands. I just didn't know exactly where you live, that's all. Or... I didn't know if you were... German or Austrian or Dutch. I'm not trying to pick on you, Sebastian. It's just funny how when people are dealing with Americans, they're like, well, okay, so outside of your country, there's other countries. And Americans are like, no, there isn't. There's no other countries outside my country. You can't trick me with that. I know what you're doing. We know, all right? Well, some of us do. I can't. No, I'm just messing with you, Sebastian. And you know what? There's a lot of places we don't know. So, you know. One of the joys of having met people from other parts of the world is like learning what they think, like what their perception is of like American culture and even accents. Like when Guy was on, and Guy has a, would you say that Guy has like a Portuguese accent, right? Isn't he I think, isn't he in Brazil? I'm gonna be so pissed at myself if I forgot where he's living. But when Guy was on, he was talking about how people in his country, or I believe they tell him he sounds like he's from Texas, that he has like a southern, he sounds like he's like from America, like a cowboy, and how they all, like a lot of them say that. And then I heard his, when I heard that, I was like, bro, you you do not sound like you're from, you sound very much like not American. Like I wouldn't be able to pinpoint it with like great accuracy, but it was just really interesting that to their ears he sounds, to their ears guy sounds like he's from Brazil, which is really, because I'm sure that they're being super legit when they say that, they're being honest, but it's just to my American ears it sounds like what, I don't hear you hear Texas in that? I don't hear Texas at all. Like I hear Brazil. I hear, because the Brazilians I've listened to, they have a particular accent, but it's also because I'm not hearing the nuances of the accent in the way that they do, because like Sebastian, if you're listening to me now and then you hear somebody from like a southern part of America where they like, I hear a totally different accent, but I don't know, do you even hear it at all? Yeah, I also love Guy. Guy is the best. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He just, I don't know. I was, when he told me that, I laughed. I was like, who told you that who told you sound like you're from Texas? What are you talking about? I think it was Texas. He had said that somebody told him that. But I'm sure they're being honest. It's just the culture, people hear different things. How many kids do you have, Sebastian? You mentioned you got kids. If you don't mind my asking. You mentioned you were a father. I was married this year, so I'm thinking a lot about that and like looking forward to fatherhood. We're very excited to be parents, hopefully soon. That really happened? An American asked you where the Eiffel Tower was? In the middle of the Netherlands? If that's true, I mean, you might be messing with me. If that's true, I'm so embarrassed. That's very embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. But can you blame Americans? I mean, our country invented Baconnaise. Did you know that? We invented Baconnaise. You know what Baconnaise is? It's mayonnaise with bacon in it. I mean, once you've created Baconnaise, what else do you need to know about the world? That's it. Game over. It's so funny though. That's like somebody coming to where I live in New York and being like, "Can you point me toward I don't know, that the set from Full House in San Francisco?" It's like point at San Francisco. Wow, you got 4 kids. Good for you, man. Yeah, I don't know what Doomsday is going to be about. I haven't been following anything Marvel's been doing. After Endgame, I just kind of fell off. I didn't really like a lot of their recent stuff. There was a stream I did the other day where I was ranting about how much I dislike some of their recent stuff. It was just like, wow, this is like terrible writing. You know what I've been thinking about lately, guys, is the Socratic method of evaluating gossip. I just keep thinking about it. Socrates, the Socratic evaluation. It's like he would. I just thought I heard this the other day, and I was like, my goodness, I want to apply every bit of gossip that comes my way to this. So, for those of you who don't know, I'll tell you. And for those of you who do know, I apologize, but I'm going to tell you. So, someone comes up to Socrates. This is like thousands of years ago. And they go to Socrates like, oh man, did you hear about such and such, this guy that we know and this crazy thing? He's, like gossip. And Socrates goes, hold on. He's like, wait up. The thing you're going to tell me, is it true? And he's like, I don't actually know. He's like, so you don't know that it's true, but you're going to tell me? And he's like, yeah. He goes, okay. Is it a good thing about this person that you're telling me? He's like, no, it's an embarrassing thing. And he's like, okay. And is this information that I need in my life? Like me, the person listening to the gossip, is this something I require to know? And the guy's like, not really. And he's like, so you came to tell me something that's essentially a negative thing about another person, and you don't know if it's true, and it's not useful. So the Socratic evaluation of information is it good, useful, and true? And I just keep thinking about that. Like, it blows my mind, the sheer beautiful clarity of that. It's so awesome. Oh, Dune? Yeah. You haven't seen Dune yet? You should. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but I was also complaining to Dan about it when I'm the Dan Warren, Sebastian. You probably know Dan too. I'm sure that if you know Guy, you know Dan. I was hanging out with Dan. I was like in his restaurant that he owns. He had me and my wife over, and we were having lunch in his restaurant. And Dan and I started talking about Dune, the one that that just came out. And I was like, yeah, they're good movies, But I was like, it just makes me so sad that they chose this like minimalist look to everything instead of going for like crazy outlandish design. It was just like so sad. I was like, oh, we're never. And then Dan said something perfect. Like he was just like, yeah, I've made peace with the fact that I'm never ever going to get to see a Dune movie that looks like how I imagined it. I was like, yeah, that's true. I just have to make peace with the fact that they're never gonna do it. They're at least not in my lifetime. And you know, like I like Christopher Nolan and I think Denis Villeneuve is pretty good, but man, the refusal to make beautiful things is just so sad. Everything just looks so like colorless and just dreary. And like the Odyssey, I saw the trailer. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really cool, and I think there is something visually about it that is interesting because it's so real in its depiction of things. Like it has a somewhat real the look of the footage and everything, but it's like, I think I've talked about this a few times, so I apologize if I'm being repetitive, but like the way that people dressed at that time was so much more colorful and crazy and decked out. And then you look at the movie and everybody's just in black all the time, and everybody looks like they're in the Batman armor, you know, the rubber. And I was just like, okay, I guess we're doing it again. I think Christopher Nolan's going to do that for the rest of his career. He's not going to try something new. He just doesn't like it. I don't think he likes that type of design. He likes very sleek, minimalist stuff, but it's like, it's just not appropriate for that time period. So that's a bummer. But I still think the movie's going to be good. And I think in the context of it, when you see the movie, it'll still be like really cool. It'll still be, you know, I was blown away. I loved Oppenheimer, so I'm now like, and I like Dunkirk a lot too. I think he's a great filmmaker. Just in case anybody's wondering, by the way, this is page 60. This is page 60 of this comic. Just in case anybody's wondering why I'm an insane person. And just how much work this is. This is why my brain is broken. Yeah, the music and the sound editing in the new Dune is like absolutely, yeah, it's awesome. It's great. And like I said, I think it's like a solid science fiction movie, and a pretty good version of Dune. I agree. It's like, how can you, I don't know. Like I see like the Harkonnen in the old movie. It's like more interesting because it's more rooted in the book, where like the Harkonnen all have like really bright red hair because of the minerals of their environment. Like I don't know why you would change that, you know, and then claim that you like obsessed over the book and you pictured it a certain way. It's like you're ignoring how he described it completely. You're not even respecting any part of the description, you know, per se. But you know, whenever I'm watching it, I think it looks awesome. Like the rooms and the color and the weird look of the movie. It's just, yeah. I just wish, like, the big part for me, I was like disappointed, was at the end when the emperor comes, and the emperor and his court are all there, and there's like nothing. There's no design. There's very few people that look remotely interesting. This is supposed to be like the wealthiest people in the galaxy, in the universe. They should all have crazy outfits and you know, this is thousands of years in the future. This is like people are a totally different culture with different values and color schemes and thousands of years of technology between us and them. What kind of crazy stuff would they be wearing? And he's just like, everybody's just in like silver V-necks and like black robes. I was like, okay. Oh, thanks, Nim. Yeah, I will say I'm really proud of the work I did on this. Um, like I can't believe I did it. Like I can't, 60 pages in, I can't believe that the script that I wrote has led to me drawing this much and that is actually almost done. Like it is crazy how much work comics are, but when you get to the end and you see what you did and other people might get to appreciate it, there's something so exhilarating about that. So I am very proud. I'm really happy. I'm tired and I'm a little worn out, but very optimistic. Very, very optimistic about how it's going to do with people. You know? And seeing, like, the reaction from people who hadn't heard of me before. They kind of, some people who even kind of knew who I was because they'd seen me on a podcast or something, and then they started following my work after I announced Black Marrow 2, that release date trailer I put on Instagram. Like suddenly I sold a few copies. Like, you know, there's like more people generating interest. There's people asking me like, oh, can I buy a copy with book 2 when that comes out? I was like, yeah, you know, don't worry about it. It'll be available, you know, on the Kickstarter. The difference is that when I do the Kickstarter, all of the new copies of Black Marrow are going to have, even book 1, they're going to have the Black Marrow Comics label, the print label on it. So it'll be totally different. Anybody who was there for that first campaign, you're going to have the only versions of that ever. Nothing will look the same once that's out. So pretty cool, guys. Yeah, and right after this, like a few months after this comes out, Knights of Camelot's coming out, because I also drew like 30 pages of that. So that's going to be it's going to be a tight year. That's going to follow up. So I forgot. I was like, why did this take so long? Oh, it took long because I was drawing 2 comics at once. Not to mention the other, whatever 15 million things I got to do for work. But like, so maybe, in the end, it might not have been the right decision. Maybe I should have done one at a time, because I would have had this out by now. But yeah, I don't know. I think it might pay off that I was working on them both at once, because I think doing the other book kind of made me better at this one, and vice versa. I appreciate that, and you'll be waiting for it to come out. But it's launching like late February or early the following month. Like, that's it. I'm not letting it go past. I said February. February is when at least the book has to be complete, and maybe I can launch the campaign like the first of the following month. But yeah, I'm not messing around here. I gave myself a hard deadline, and I'm so close. I'm so close. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm going to finish this page. I'm going to finish this scene, this action sequence in the next few pages, and then it's just like three or 4 pages, maybe 5 pages after that, and then it's done. So I might even be done before January's over, which would be amazing. Getting excited just thinking about it, you guys. I did a lot of things with this that I've never. Yeah, I think it would be. That's so funny that you know that, Madar, that you share a birthday with Frank Welker. I love that you know that. That's so cool. That's so funny. Well, Yeah, you're gonna. How old you gonna be on? You're gonna be 15, right? I think you. Oh no, or no, you're older than. I'm thinking of Edgar. Edgar's 14. You're older than that, but you are a teenager. Yeah. How old are you gonna be? Just tell me. You'll be 17. Sorry, I forgot. You're the one who's 16. Edgar's like 15 or 14. One of those. I haven't seen him so much lately. Yeah, it's got to be late over there, man. You should go to bed. Do you get enough sleep, my man? Oh, he's going by Ezekiel now. I forgot. I know he has. He like has both of those names technically. Has he been in the Discord? Just curious. I hope he's okay. I know he had some stuff with his family. I don't really know what else is going on with him. I'm glad he's still drawing. That's really was my main concern. It's pretty cool to have the same birthday as JFK. He's pretty universally loved. See, I'm learning that a Scotsman knows and respects JFK enough to remember his birthday. I just find that funny because it's like the relevance of JFK. Ay, 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 ay. So, this is page 60. I think the book is going to be ending at page like 70. So, that's roughly the same. It might be a little bit longer than that, but it's roughly, book 1 is 87 pages. I want to see if I can keep book 2 the same length. So if it's going to be like a 70-page story, I know there were people that were really requesting that I put more. They want to see more of the pen and inks, just like the ink work. So I might do like a full 5 or 6 pages, maybe more. The only reason I'm not doing more than that is because I'm thinking, and you guys can tell me, what do you guys think of this? Because I know the people who watch these are the ones who buy my books typically. I was thinking about putting a preview for Knights of Camelot in the last few pages to bring it, and that would bring it to about 87 pages if I did like maybe 6 or 7. I don't want to do too much. But I'm putting a cap on myself to not go too much longer than 87 pages because I want to keep the price low enough that people aren't overwhelmed. But the only reason I'm doubting that doing the Knights of Camelot preview in the back, I mean, I think I should, because it's like I'm announcing my print label. I want people to see all this stuff that's coming and advertise the next book and everything. But the reason I'm wondering if I shouldn't is because it's like, y'all are gonna, if people are gonna buy that book, then they're paying for those pages in Black Marrow, and it's like you're paying for the same pages of art twice. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just don't want to. I want people to feel like they're always getting their money's worth as far as like the entertainment they're paying for. And if I include a preview in the price, it's like a preview for a book that comes out in like, you know, a few months after the first one, after Black Marrow. It's like, I don't know. You can tell me, guys. Do you think that's fair? Do you care at all? Is it like whatever? You know, it's only like 5 pages. It's like a few cents, or $2 or something extra per copy. You vote preview? Okay. You are overthinking it. If anything, we're paying for a sneak peek for that. Yeah, you're right. It's a sneak peek. Yeah, so like that's the... Okay. Which is good too, because I really want to show off some of the artwork. Because it's like... it's just... Yeah. I'm really happy with how some of that looks. It's really cool. Thanks again, Nim. Thank you for that. But more likely the special copies you'll get. Hey, what's up, Lone Wolf? You just got it from a nap? Welcome. Unless, of course, you're still asleep. How can you know? So, guys, one of the things I love about this mic is, you remember in some of my old videos when I would talk and I would make a pop, pop, pop sound and it would like blow your ears out of your head because of the cheap microphone? Now it's nice. Now I have a pop filter on it, so I can go pop, pop all day, and it shouldn't be a problem. So, like, what are you looking at in this image? Well, the answer is you're looking at a Lovecraftian creature getting hit with a sky beam from a moving train, you know. Just normal stuff. Oh, sorry. Sorry, microphone. Well, Madari, 11's not super late, especially for a Friday night, whatever. But I will say you're a growing lad with your life ahead of you. I ask that you do me the favor of going to bed at a decent hour, because you're the future. And a lot of people, especially young people, don't get enough sleep. Because you're on the YouTubes and the Instagrams and the TikToks. My wife is so annoyed at me because I'm always getting on her to get enough sleep. Cause she'll be up late, like we'll be in bed and she's like kind of doing a last minute shopping on her phone or like looking for stuff, or, you know, on Instagram and just kind of relaxing. She really likes to like do phone shopping when she's like taking a bath and stuff, which is like fine. But she'll be doing it late at night, and I'll be like, "Go to sleep. It's 11:30. You're getting up at 7. You got to get 8 hours." I'm a miser about it. And she'll be like, "Oh my God, shut up. Just stop." The reason I think so much about it is because I, in the past, really struggled with insomnia. I had like terrible, terrible insomnia for a few years that would come and go. And when the insomnia would come, I was just, my life would be a nightmare because I was like, I literally like would not sleep for days at a time and would have like, I remember having straight up auditory hallucinations because my brain was so tired. That was crazy. I remember that back when I was working a day job before I went back to doing comics full time. I was working with special needs kids, and I was really stressed because it's a stressful job sometimes. And I would go to bed late, wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep enough, and then the next day, it happened like 2 nights in a row where I didn't sleep at all. And then on the third night, I also couldn't sleep. I remember just walking down the street because it was like 3 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. And as I'm walking, I can like hear someone behind me whispering, and like I can every time a stray cat moved in the street, I'd be like looking around. I was like, and I realized like, oh, I'm going insane. That's what's happening. This is like my brain, and like, because I had enough knowledge about like health and fitness from my job that I was like, I had a basic understanding of that stuff where I was like, oh, my stress hormone is really, really high because I haven't slept in days. And I'm actually like, this is what it feels like. This is literally what it feels like to lose your mind. And this is I'm a crazy person now. This is who I am now. This crazy guy. And then I had a night where I slept, after that I slept like literally 15 hours straight, and even then I was still tired because I was so behind on sleep. But I remember that night where I was like, this has to stop because I'm literally becoming like one of these guys you come across in the city at 2 a.m. who's just nuts, and you're like afraid to be alone with them because he seems off. Like that was starting to be me, I thought, because I was so tired that like my social skills were breaking down. I was like, I'm not really friendly right now. It was just life in the city, for me anyway. Very, very glad to have my cozy little country life now. You can't speak to him on Sunday? Why? Is it like because it's his day of rest? I mean, as a Catholic, I try to treat Sundays as my day of rest, but I do a very bad job of it. I'll be like, oh, it's Sunday. I'm going to not stress about work and I'm going to just chill. But then there's like a billion things to do. And I'm like, okay, well, not doing a great job here. These are going to be repeated panels from an earlier page in the book to show a sequence that happens again. So I don't know that I need to really draw the outlines of those, but man. So if you don't mind my asking, Madara, do you work at the special needs school or are you a student? Like, or are you a student at the school with some kids who are special needs? Like, I know that they often mix them. It's not like it's, you know, working at a school really is stressful because you are responsible for those kids, you know? Um, yeah. Yeah, you're a student there? Okay. Yeah, I would. So the special needs school that I worked at um, sounds. I mean, it sounds different than you because like you might. I'm sure you know your special needs, Madari, but you're clearly really high functioning socially. Like you're very conversational. I know that you told me some stuff about yourself, but like um, if anything, you probably just need some help smoothing out the corners of some things, and you know, in your life, so that you can be productive and all that stuff. The school where I worked was like for what you would call really low functioning special needs kids, like kids who are like in almost entirely or partially nonverbal, things like that. So you're like the programs we would work on them with, like work with them on, were like one kid was like tying his own shoes, like that kind of thing. And I was the coach. I was the phys ed coach, which I'm sure some of you can picture. Coach Ryan. I did that for a couple of years, and I worked there, I should say, for almost 5 years. And at a certain point, I was overtaxed because it was like, you know, it was just a lot. Because you would have daily tantrums from some, and these are kids, you know, 16, 17 years old, throwing like violent tantrums. And you know, and it's mostly a staff of women. And some of them are pregnant women, and some of them are like 5'2", and you know, and it's like a 17-year-old kid who's physiologically an adult, but having a tantrum of like a small child, which is very dangerous. It can be, anyways. So when the kids would have tantrums, it was like, you know, the minority of teachers who were male, you're like expected to step in and do something, you know. So there were days where I would spend hours just trying to stop this one kid from biting himself, because he would bite himself until he bled because he was upset that he wasn't getting the lunch that he wanted. He would like earn certain treats, and he did a bad job. He wasn't listening. So we're like, okay, you're not going to get to go out for lunch. You have lunch, we have food for you, but you're not going to get this special lunch that you were going to earn if you were well behaved today. And that set him off. And then it was hours of me trying really hard I had to stop him from biting himself. And it was just, it's physical work. And, you know, less of a teacher, more of a security guard or something, or like an orderly. And so, you know, I won't say the name of the school or anything about the kids, because that's a violation of whatever. I don't want anybody's privacy to be compromised. But that was a tough job. When I quit that and went back to comics full time, it was like, it was a lot easier. It's also, they don't pay you much at that school. But I'm not saying, I know your school is very different. Yeah, because of your autism and your delayed learning. But I mean, you seem sharp to me, Madari. I know there's a few things where, you know, I get what you're saying, but yeah, it's good that you're getting a little bit of extra help, because you're gonna do fine in life. Yeah, oh man, Nim, that sounds rough. So what Madari just said, that's exhaustion and stuff, and when I can concentrate on something, I can concentrate on it really damn good. So that I've been told that I am not neurotypical. I've been told that I have ADHD. I don't know. I've never been officially tested. But before my wife, my ex-girlfriend, she was a therapist. And like dating any therapist, they start diagnosing you. She was like, you have ADHD for sure. And I was like, I don't know. But according to that diagnosis, or what she told me, it's that it's like my ability to focus on one thing and just do it at the expense of other things that I don't want to do is like cosmically insane. I like this is page 60 of a comic that I drew for which I have not yet been paid. Like clearly there's something in my brain where I just fixate. The thing about some people is like I learned how to monetize it. I learned how to turn this into a productive living. And that's something I really hope that everybody does who's like got an odd brain, you know, which I think is most of you. You can see it. It's a late diagnosis. Yeah. It was like, no. I mean, nobody even knew what that was when I was in high school, you know, which is when it would have benefited me to know that, because I was a terrible student, guys. I almost flunked every year. I almost flunked out of school. And I'll tell you a story real quick. And it's not a story about my boxing coach days for anybody who's expecting more of that. I remembered one of my teachers at this private Catholic school where I went to school, they had me take an IQ test. And whatever, I can just, my IQ was like 156. And they were like, according to this, you should not be struggling the way you are with school. It's like, is it not challenging enough for you? Are you bored because it's too easy? And I was like, no, it's not that. It's definitely not too easy. I find chemistry really freaking hard. But they were like, you know, looking at my IQ scores, and they're like, this is like, you know, whatever. It's just a number. I don't think I fit the bill of the genius level IQ at all. I think I struggle quite a bit. But, they were like, that's really, really high. So what's the problem? And I was just like, there's just certain things in my brain, just like chemistry. I thought chemistry was freaking impossible. But then you put me in math, not math. Then you put me in English, and my English was like I mean, my language scores were impeccable. Like I was in the top percentile for reading comprehension and like narrative composition and language. Like that stuff was always so easy for me, like so easy. Writing and reading and speaking and understanding word use and proper diction and rhetoric and all that, like so easy for me. It was like a breeze. I never understood why so many people had such a hard time with it. But then inversely, you'd put me in like chemistry, for example, or pre-calculus, and I was like, it was like teaching a brick. I would just sit there and I'd look and I'd be like, I don't even understand what the premise of this subject is. Like I don't even know what pre-calculus is. Like I was like, I couldn't, you know. And then there would be guys near me who I always thought were these dumbasses because the way they spoke about, like, their reasoning skills were not great. They were just kind of like normal, dumb high school guys. And they would be acing pre-cal. They'd be like, oh, yeah, it's not so hard. You just do this. You put it in a little box. You multiply. It was just like, my brain was just like that poop emoji. You were a coach, but the situation sounded more like the role of a psychiatric nurse. Yeah. And that's the thing about being a teacher there in schools like that. It's like you have in name, you're a teacher, but at the end of the day, your job, we joked, like your job is to keep the kids alive. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, as any teacher's job, you got to keep the kids alive, but like, it's like, oh, I'm a phys ed coach, but like the kids don't really play sports, you know, cause it's like complex games like soccer, like they're not going to be able to do that, but I can get them to exercise. So I was more of like a personal trainer for each of the kids, get them to move, get them to walk. A lot of these kids had comorbidities, meaning like physical problems that kind of accompanied their autism sometimes. So I would be working on exercises to fix some of their posture because they would have weird hunching, or one of them had Marfan, so I would get him to move and build his muscles back up. And I would do that on a good day, but on a bad day, I was the big guy in the room who had to stop the kid from biting his hand. And those days were increasingly common. And I just reached a point where I was like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. A lot of teachers in that field have about a 4-year cap before they just start to be like, I can't, I'm done, I'm tired. And then if you make it past the 4-year cap, they say you'll just go forever. You can make a real career out of it. But for me, but honestly, I'm so grateful for that experience, because if I hadn't had that, I wouldn't have made a pivot during COVID and doing what I'm doing now. This is largely the fact that I draw comics for a living now. That is because that's because of the time I spent there, and I don't know that I would have had everything happened the way it was supposed to, I thought, to get me where I am now, honestly. So I'm grateful. I have a really, really nice little career now, and it seems to be getting better all the time. And I think a lot of that's because of that crap. Not that crap, I shouldn't say that, but that the rough experiences and the hard jobs, and me being because I remember leaving there. I don't know if you can tell me if you had this experience too, where you leave a place and you're like, I don't ever want to have a boss again. I'm done listening to anybody having to tell me what to do. I don't want it anymore. And I left. And not having a boss is pretty wonderful. I hear you, Madari. Do you like history, Madari? Because I love history. That was a subject that I loved in school. I loved it more afterwards, because the way they teach history in school sometimes it's not they have kids memorizing names and dates, and it's that's not as important. That's not as important as knowing what happened and why. History is a story. That's why history should never be boring. It's fascinating. It's a history is it's a narrative. It's the story of the human race. It's all kinds of crazy stuff, good and evil, battling it out over the it's just it's amazing. And if you just make kids memorize names and dates, it's of course they're bored. That's not the point. I know that the Great Schism happened in 1054. Great. Why did it happen? Why did the church split up? And then what did that mean for the surrounding territories and the governments of the kingdom? And it drives me crazy, because they're still doing it. You see the same thing with Nim. You did 4 years and you became, that's just how it is. Been there, did that. It's easier busting my ass for myself than deal. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, are you between jobs, Lone Wolf? Yeah. Sebastian says, my history teacher started with showing the movie Gladiator. I thought that was a great start for teaching 12-year-old kids. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Gladiator is awesome. They let you watch that when you were 12? God, our school experiences were very different. It's interesting that you have 4 kids, Sebastian, because I think that's considered a lot for Germany, right? Aren't a lot of people in Germany like they're not having children, or there's like there's a culture of people having like 1 kid, from what I understand, or 2 kids, but there's also cultures within cultures. So I'm interested in that. I'm interested in because by today's standards, that's a lot of kids. If this were back in like maybe 30 or 40 years ago, it'd be like everybody's got like 35. A lot of dinosaur Egyptian history, and after a while it became a lot of extraterrestrial conspiracy theories that I found history. Yeah, no, dude, that's a great way in, like alien stuff. Like I love ancient aliens and everything. That's a great way into history. It's so fun. Oh, right. I'm sorry. You don't live in Germany, right? You live in the Netherlands. I forgot. I know you told me that. I'm sorry. Yeah, what do you love? I love Michelangelo. You learned about the Renaissance and fell in love. The Renaissance is awesome, and I obsessed over it for a while, and now I'm going further back and being like, yeah, but the Byzantine era is pretty awesome. As far as like the artwork, it's so stylized and cool. Oh man, I've been on for 90 minutes. More than 90 minutes. Okay, guys. I'm going to call it a night. This was a good... I'm sorry that the last 20 minutes I wasn't even drawing. I was just talking to you guys. I got to finish these maybe later, maybe tomorrow. I love you. Thanks for showing up. I'll see you in the Discord. I'll try to post this video on the Patreon too. And maybe I'll upload works in progress for you guys who are Patreon members so you can see where it's going, how it's going. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Please give the video a like. It really helps the channel out. And yeah, thanks you for showing up, Sebastian, and thanks for popping in for my streams. I love you guys. Have a good night, okay?